I want to lift up Pastor Hope and Sister Hope. I know that they're going through some things right now. And also just lifting up everybody who's going through anything right now. Which is everybody. But I want to pray against sickness. I want to pray against anything that's coming to attack the health of God's children, God's people. I know there's been a lot of children sick. They say it's a children's pandemic now. There's so many kids suffering from RSV, the flu, COVID, all of that stuff. But also for our own pastor who we honor and we serve. So if everybody bow their heads. Dear God, I just want to thank you for lifting up my pastor and my first lady, God. I thank you that today, God, as we stand here in his absence, God, that you are sending angels to touch his heart, to touch anything that's going on in his body, God. We speak against sickness. We speak against any ailments that is trying to come and take his body, God, and take his health, God. We know that you have destined him and his wife to do great things, God. So I want to lift up him. I want to lift up his wife. God, we thank you for supernatural healing, supernatural restoration of their bodies. God, we want to lift up all of your children, everyone here who's going through any health issues, God. I lift up anyone suffering from any type of cold or virus or anything that has begin to surface and go around and try to take your children down, take them out, God. And we thank you that Pastor Hope comes back 10 times stronger. Sister Hope comes back 10 times stronger, God. And I just thank you for a restoration within the church, God. Any hurts, any wounds that have been placed or that has been given to us. God, I just thank you for healing. God, I thank you for comfort. And we just thank you for the God that you are. In Jesus' name we pray. My message is going to be called The Track Record of God. Who God has been to us, to not just us, but pretty much everybody from the beginning of time. God has had a track record. His track record has always been one of goodness, of faithfulness, of grace, of mercy, of forgiveness. He's always had a track record of restoration. And I just want to kind of go more in depth with it and kind of who God is to us. And in return, open your minds to who he has called us to be to others, because God is inside of us. He resides in our hearts. And the Holy Spirit dwells with us. And the same God who has given us goodness and faithfulness is the same God that is wanting us to extend that to others. That's mainly our purpose here on this earth, is to extend ourselves to be, we're a branch of a whole tree. God said we're, branches of him. And so our branches are to produce fruit, and the fruit is to feed others. In the word, God feeds us. He has fed us in so many ways. He feeds us mostly though with the word, but he also feeds us with provision. He feeds us with the children of Israel. They didn't have food, and they kept they kept questioning God, and they were like, well, shouldn't we just go back? Like, did you just bring us out here to starve? And God was like, don't worry about it. I'll give you food. I'll give you enough food to last you until tomorrow. And I'll give you an abundance of food. And so what's interesting is that God gave them food but he told him don't save it, because he said, don't save it, because like don't hold on to this food that I'm giving you, because tomorrow I'm gonna give you more food. And a lot of times I think we try to hold on to what God has given us in the moment because we think it's gonna leave us. We think that we might need it. We might have to hold on to it for tomorrow. But God said, tomorrow, like let tomorrow worry about itself, because today I'm gonna be El Shaddai. I'm gonna be your comforter. I'm gonna be um, your God today, and I'm gonna be that same God tomorrow. For 1 Kings 17:2. One thing that I have been kind of thinking about lately, or kind of studying a little bit lately, is and I've been kind of intrigued in a way that I'm just like, what? It's not like I'm intrigued because I like it, but I'm intrigued because I'm blown away at how people have chosen other gods. They have chosen idolatry. There's one of my friends I was talking to was telling me that her grandmother served. She was like, she believes in God, but she serves what's it? Santa Muerta. I don't know how to say it. Muerta.
Martha.
Yeah, that. No, but she's the skull with the like the Grim Reaper. Yeah. So a lot of people she was telling me her grandmother like served this idol. And so when I went into depth with it, I started to look it up. It was saying that that's the number one the highest growing religion in America today. It has grown within the last since I think 2010. It has grown to be one of the top religions in the USA, and many of the Central America countries. And it was interesting to me because one thing that they said was people who serve this god or this idol, this woman, they go to her and they serve her because she doesn't judge, or she doesn't judge you. So drug dealers love her, the LGBTQ community, they love her, and a lot of people who are kind of blind, like this friend's grandmother, I think she was more so blind, or somebody brought it to her and she doesn't know what she's serving. But the concept behind this lady is you have to basically promise her something, and in return she gives you protection. Like for drug dealers, she'll protect them from, or they think she's protecting them from law enforcement. Or you have to promise her every day you'll give her money. You'll put money on her altar. They all have altars of her, and you'll light her candles, and you'll, let's say, sing a song to her every morning, and she'll give you money, or she'll give you, if you have a business, she'll make sure your business flourishes. But the downside of her is when you don't go with your promise, or you make her mad, she will take away somebody you love, or she's like the death, like you said. I forgot what they call her, but she'll take away somebody you love that's close to you. But one of the biggest things is they serve her in Hollywood. Hollywood is one of the main places where they serve this idol, because she promises fame and she promises money, and it's so much so that they literally have given this thing its own star, in the thing. And it was interesting to me because I'm like, so she was describing it to me. She was like, well, she gives them blessings. And I was like, no, she giving them, it ain't a blessing that she's giving them. But a lot of times we serve things and idols and people. We worship, the ground that they walk on, because we think that they can give us something, or we think that, they can provide for us or make a way, when the whole time it's demonic. This thing is demonic. It's not a God. It's not anything that can offer you anything that God can offer you. It can give you money, it can give you worldly things. But God ain't the type of God that's gonna say, hey, you need to promise me something, and I'm gonna give you this in return. And if you don't do it, your mama gotta die. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the type of God we serve. He's not that type of God. He's the type of God who he's gonna say, you told me you were gonna fast, for 5 days, and you still ain't did it. You keep breaking the fast, but I love you enough. I'm still gonna give you what you asked me for, even though you didn't do it, because I have that mercy and I have that grace. God is the God who I noticed, like 1 Kings 17:2. It says, "Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah: Leave here, turn eastward, and hide in the Kerith ravine east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have directed the ravens to supply you with food there." So he did what the Lord had told him. He went to the Kerith ravine east of the Jordan and stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. Sometime later, the brook dried up because there had been no rain in the land. Then the word of the Lord came to him: "Go at once to Zarephath in the region of Sidon and stay there. I have directed a widow there to supply you with food." One of the track records of God is he sends a word first. If you go to read the story of Abraham, he sent him a word first. If you go read the story of Joseph and Mary before Jesus came, he sent them a word first. He sent the word forth first. And then he sent direction. He said, okay, I'm going to send you here. Moses, he sent him a word, and then he sent him direction. He said, I'm going to send you here. Go here first. And God sends that word, and then he sends you direction. So when God is working in our lives, unlike these other idols, God is actually trying to give us light. He's the light to our path. So he's actually trying to, he's sending you confirmation like, hey, I'm here with you. That's his word. I'm sending you this word. I'm here. I'm your God. I love you. Go this way. Go left. And left, there will be food there. Because right now there is a famine and there's not any food. So I'm going to send you to where there is food. And then it said, then the brook dried up. So then after the brook dried up, guess what he did again? He sent another word. So when God, he sends you a word and he sends you to a place for a season. And I think sometimes we believe that because we have provision in this place, and because we had a lot in this place, this is the place we're going to be at. This is the place we're going to stay. But guess what? That provision dried up. And God knew it was going to dry up. And if we sit and we are open to hear the word and the voice of God, he's going to send you another word. And he's going to send you to that next season of your life where there's going to be more provision. Like he did, he sent him to the widow. Not only did he send him to the widow, but through, what's amazing to me is through God trying to get Elijah provision through the widow, he was given the widow provision through Elijah. Because what he did was he was like, I'm going to send you to this woman. She's going to feed you. Elijah's like, got you, I'm going to go. When he gets to this woman who was going to feed him, she's like, what? This all I got. Like, I was finna take this oil and this flour. I was going to make this bread. And me and my son was going to sit here and wait to die. But he sent Elijah because Elijah knew the voice of God. Elijah knew the mightiness, like he knew the power of God. So he knew that if I send you to her, she don't know me. You know me. You're hungry. She's hungry. I'm gonna send you, and I'm gonna allow you to teach her who I am. So when he sent Elijah to the widow, he was like, I'm gonna bring you some food through her. She was obedient because she probably was at her end and she was probably ready to just whatever came her way, she probably would have accepted because at that point she was literally ready to die. So at that point in her life, she was probably to the point where she was like, if it works, it works. Like I'm willing to try this because at this point I don't have nothing else to lose. And so when she tried that, well, when she put her faith in what Elijah was telling her, he was like, no, if you give me this, I promise you your oil and your flour will never run out. And so through Elijah, he taught her how to walk in faith. And he also taught her who God was. After God sent, after this took place, after they ate, her oil, her flour never dried up. But then her son died. So you see, first she was in a season where she's like, I'm hungry, I'm about to die. Then God sent her to a season where he's like, I'm going to provide for you in overflow. And then she stepped into another season of grief. Okay, now you're in this season where your son's dead. And she's like, wait, what? Why would you feed me over here? And now I'm over here and my son is dead. Like, why would you do that to me? Because it doesn't make sense. And God was really trying to show her and Elijah, because he wasn't just trying to show the widow something there. He was trying to see would Elijah step in and give him and trust him. Because it said that when Elijah, if y'all want to read it, it said Elijah cried out to God because he didn't understand. He was like, wait, why would you send me there for her son to die? Now she's looking at me crazy because he was fine. I promised him life, and now he's gone. Like, what's going on? Because Elijah, he didn't understand either. So neither the widow nor did Elijah understand. And it says, then he cried out to the Lord, Lord, my God, have you brought tragedy even on the widow I'm staying with by causing her son to die? And then he stretched himself out on the boy 3 times and cried out to the Lord, Lord, my God, let this boy's life return to him. Verse 22. Then the Lord heard Elijah's cry, and the boy's life returned to him, and he lived. So it seems to me that after Elijah cried out to God is when God said, I got you, like, I hear you. Had Elijah never cried out to God and took that boy and buried him in the ground and said it's okay, I don't think that he would have came back to life. I believe that what God was doing in that moment, he was not only trying to teach this widow who he was, the track record of who he was, but he was also trying to teach Elijah and allow Elijah to know that this is the God I am. You were able to speak this word. You are my prophet. You are the one who has been here and there, but there's more to you than you know. There's more to you in me than you know. And so when this lady's son died, the widow, she said in the last verse, she said, now I know. Then the woman said to Elijah, now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord from your mouth is the truth. God sends other people to let you know that he's real. Sometimes God ain't gonna speak to you directly. Sometimes God isn't gonna come to you in your room and say, Jacob, I'm here, I love you, I'm with you. God is gonna send somebody to you who's gonna come in and help you to see him through the form of a miracle. He literally works in the form of miracles. God is literally he's one of those people you could call like he gonna be extra with it. And he's gonna allow you to go through seasons. So don't expect to be joyful. Don't expect to be overfilled. Don't expect to have everything that you need in every moment, because if y'all didn't recognize in each phase that they went through and each season, God was showing them something. He was teaching, he was building character, he was building endurance, he was building faith and knowledge inside of them, because he was trying to show them, I have a track record of goodness. I am the same God in this season that I'm going to be in this season and I'm going to be in this season, but that doesn't mean that your seasons are going to look alike. It doesn't mean that every season is going to be great just because, but I'm going to be there, but it's not going to be great. It's not going to be perfect, but you're going to get something from it, and you're going to take something from that season and move it into the next season. And every season that you go through, you're going to cross paths with people who's going to need to see the God in you, who's going to need to see that same God that was there for Elijah at the brook, who was sending the raven with meat and water. He was sending him with food so that he could eat every day. He sent food to the children of Israel every single day. And they were in that season. And then where did they go then? Then after they were disobedient, they still went into a season of overflow. They still stepped into that promised land. They still was able to have an abundance of what they had. But even after Joshua led them into the promised land, they went through a season of dryness. They went through another season of loss. They went through another season. In Jeremiah, Judah, or the Israelites were taken, they were captured they were taken into captivity, and then that led. So all these seasons. So first they were in Egypt, and then they went to the wilderness, and then they went to the promised land, and then they were in captivity, and then from captivity, then Daniel came. When they were in captivity, then there's where you see Daniel, and you see him in the lion's den, and you see, it's and then you see him come out of it, and you see a season of goodness and greatness. It's always gonna go from season to season, but God is the same God. He's the same God who told Joseph and Mary, "You're gonna have a child." He sent that word to them. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna let you know she's gonna be pregnant. She's still a virgin. Don't worry, it's my baby. Jesus is gonna come." Even when Jesus came, guess what happened? They was trying to kill him. He was literally the parents had to go on the run. But guess what God did? God sent the word. And then he sent the provision. He said, "Hey, I'm going to send these 3 wise men, and I'm going to let them know to let y'all know that y'all got to go. Y'all going to be on the run. And then you're going to run. You're going to go here. And you're going to be in this place of provision. I'm going to protect you. Not even just provision, but protection. I'm going to keep you here. And then you'll end up going back this way." But it's all the same. God is the same God. Like, he was the same God in all of those stories. Even with Ruth and Naomi, her sons died, her husband died, But guess what? The word was sent to her that, hey, it's provision over there. So that was not just a word, that was God sending that to her, because God knew that when I get you from here, out of this, you're in a grieving stage, but guess what? You're gonna go to a better season where y'all gonna have plenty, and you're gonna have not only plenty, but I'm a God of favor, so I'm gonna give you favor. You're gonna go and you're gonna work in Boaz's fields, and he's gonna find favor on Ruth, because there's just something about her that makes me want to help them. It makes me want to give her everything. And so Boaz gives Ruth everything, and he marries her. And then guess what? Naomi, she gets the benefit from that. So he's moving them. He's moving us all, y'all. He's moving us from place to place to place. Every place doesn't feel good. There's times where you're gonna feel sad, you're gonna feel depressed, you're gonna feel alone. And then there's times where you're gonna feel overfilled with joy, with resources. You're gonna know, like, wow, like, this is what I'm talking about. And that's when you're gonna have testimonies. But then you're not gonna live on that bread forever. You gotta go, to another place, because God is constantly trying to grow us. We're never done. Like, even when we die, when we're in heaven, we're still gonna have to grow. We're still gonna have to go from different levels. Literally, there's different levels in heaven we're gonna have to work our ways to. So everything that you go through, if you can just go and find who God is and think about what is his track record. Because I know God is not the God who's gonna take somebody from you because you didn't listen to him. He's not the type of God that he's not even gonna take something from you because you didn't listen to him. He's more so like he's like, you know what? I saw your heart, and I know that you didn't your flesh didn't allow you to stay focused or to stay where you needed to be. But in your heart, I could see that you really desired me. You really desired to see my face. So tonight when you go to sleep, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna give you a hug. I'm gonna give you the hug that you've been needing from, somebody. I'm gonna give you that word of affirmation. I'm gonna let that random lady in the grocery store come and remind you that you are so beautiful, that you are so loved, because you still deserve it. Even though you didn't do what I said, even though you didn't keep your promise to me, even though you didn't keep your promise to her, even though I saw the way that you handled that situation, you deserve this because I'm your father, because I am merciful, I am graceful, I am forgiving, I am loving, and God is almighty. So that means his power, he has all control. All the word almighty literally means control. It means power, all power. So God has the control of everything. Anything that you face, anything that you go through, figure out if you can take some time aside to say, you know what, I need to figure out who God can be for me in this moment and call out to that God. Call out to him. He's gonna be there. He's always there. Um, but what I noticed about God in my personal life is um, God is the type of God that he loves it when you seek him out, when you take time to truly seek him out, because he's always there, but he's the type, he's gonna, for me, when I experience God the most, it's when I'm truly seeking him out. It's when I'm truly like, God, like, I gotta find you. I need to figure out what I can do in this moment because I'm lost, I'm hurting, and I'm confused. And then he shows up, and he's one of the best friends that I could ever have asked for, and one of the best fathers in the times where I haven't felt love, in the times where I felt rejected, in the times where I felt wounded. God was there to give me peace. He was there to give me comfort. He was there to give me worth, to allow me to know, like, even if nobody tells you this today, like, you are so worthy. You are so special to me. And if you can find that in God, I believe you have found the secret to all of your problems. Because I think sometimes we expect God, we're like in this season of, oh my goodness, like why am I still grieving? Why is it grief after grief after grief? And God is like, that's just where you are right now. You had to be there because where I'm taking you, I needed you to go through grief so that you could experience my comfort. And when you experience my comfort, that way, when I get you to where you're going, you're going to teach her. You're going to give that widow my comfort. You're going to give her, what I've given you already. Because the only reason Elijah was able to tell the widow, like, hey, don't worry about it. Your jar is going to be filled. Your oil is going to be refilled. Is because God did it for him. That was literally the only reason Elijah was able to do that for the widow, is because God literally did it for him. He was like, you know what? I don't know. I didn't have food either. but it kept coming. So God sent somebody who had already experienced him in that way to give it to somebody who needed to experience him in that way. And he's gonna do that for y'all. And he's gonna do that through y'all. He's the type that's just who he is. He has a track record of victory. He's undefeated. And no devil, no demon, no sickness, nothing that could ever come against us would still win. Like Pastor Ho said, God will only allow them to go as far as he wants them to. And even then, you still win because you are on a team that will never lose. And this team is exactly that. It's literally a team, y'all. This is a team. This isn't just me against the world. This is us against the world. This is us against the devil. And I just want everybody to know that God got us. He got you. And learn to keep moving without bitterness, without resentment, without allowing hurt or betrayal to stay with you. I'm struggling. I'm still in a place where I'm asking God to teach me and to help me and to give me the grace and to give me the mercy to extend to other people. Because that's what he has called of us. And we're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect. Stop holding people to perfection. That is the problem. The moment that you step out of perfection, people want to. But if you look at yourself, you ain't perfect either. And I'm just saying this to all of us because it's real, y'all. This is real. Like, we have one judge. We have one judge. And he's all of it. He's the judge, he's the juror, he's the prosecutor, he's all of it. All God called us to do is love. He said the greatest of all of those things with Jesus was love. Make it a point to, or give the space for God to come in and make himself evident in your life. When you allow him to be evident in your life, he gonna be evident. He gonna show up. I'm telling y'all, he's gonna show up. And he showed me that. He showed me that he's gonna show up. But he said it's up to y'all how I show up. It's up to what y'all choose to do if I show up and do that for you. Yeah.